So it was about time that she stopped punishing me for it and started trying to really become a part of this family. And that wouldn't be possible until she apologized to me from the bottom of her heart and actively tried to work on our relationship. I'm an emotional fool, and what she said to me that day touched me. So like an idiot, I decided to forgive her and be friends with her. And I guess that's what hurt the most, because she betrayed me after being friends with me. We were on good terms for a really long time, and she was actively involved in the wedding prep. I wouldn't say that we were the best of friends, but we were not as bad as we used to be. While we were rebuilding our relationship, we would meet at least once or twice every month and talk to each other, so by the time I got engaged we were doing well, and I had introduced her to Greg in person as well. Before the engagement, whenever we would meet at family events and stuff, they would behave pretty normally, so I never suspected anything because I had no reason to. Even after the engagement, they continued to behave as if nothing was going on, and not even for a second did I think that maybe Greg had a thing for Melissa. It simply did never occur to me, because Greg put up a really convincing act of being in love with me throughout while he was cheating on me with Melissa. And even she was very convincing at pretending to be my friend. So I didn't find out the truth until it was too late and they were already gone. My parents wanted to trace them and bring them back home, but I convinced them to leave it alone because I just wanted to forget about everything. It was bad enough that the two of them had made a complete fool out of me and ran away a week before I was supposed to get married. I absolutely didn't want more drama because I was really depressed and just didn't have it in me. I spent the next couple of weeks doing nothing but working and sleeping because I wanted to avoid confronting my feelings. My heart was obviously broken and I was just numb, but the worst was yet to come. A couple of weeks after my supposed wedding day, I received a postcard from Melissa, and she was in California. But that wasn't it, because she had also used a bunch of photos of her with Greg and they appeared to be really happy. It was very obvious that she was rubbing it in my face, because she had even mentioned that she was sorry about the surprise before my wedding. But she wasn't sorry, obviously, and it was just meant to anger me. It was then that I realized that she had never really forgiven me for what happened all those years ago and still held me responsible for the fact that she had been sent away. And neither had she even wanted to be my friend at any point. She had just used me to get to Greg, and I had trusted her and let her use me as a stepping stone. It was a really diabolical plan, I'll have to give it to her. For days after she sent me that postcard, I couldn't even sleep because I was losing my mind over this. It was a really traumatic experience for me, and I had to get therapy for months to undo all the damage and deal with my trust issues. The postcard wasn't even a one-off incident, and she sent me postcards of her and Greg for months after that. It only ended after about a year because I hadn't responded to her or played into the drama. Our parents were really upset about it and naturally cut all ties with her after that. They didn't even try to reach out to her after the first postcard. And that was a huge loss for Melissa, because she was all set to inherit her dad's business. She was a business major, and that was a part of the reason why she had chosen that route for herself, because she wanted to join her father. But of course, after what she had pulled off, our father cut all ties with her and told me that I could join him instead, because he felt like he had to make up for everything in a major way. But I didn't have a business degree, and I actually was a history major. And that pretty much had nothing to do with business, so I needed to learn the ropes first. My father said that it was not a problem because he was willing to teach me everything that he knew so that I could eventually take over the business instead of Melissa. So I agreed and started to work under him so I could learn how to run the business, and he could retire and hand over the reins to me after a while. I worked really hard for a couple of years, and last year, I was finally promoted and my father retired. It was an amazing feeling because I had started from scratch and had to learn everything. But now everything was smooth sailing under me, and has been for some time. Thanks to me, my parents can now spend more time together without worrying about the business because I'm taking care of it. It's been this way for quite a while, and I pretty much stopped thinking about Greg after I started working for my father because that took up all my time. That, along with therapy, helped me move on, and I would say now, I have completely moved on and don't think about them or what they did. I never thought that they would ever reach out to me again, let alone ask for my help. Because it would take a lot of guts and an utter lack of functioning brain cells to ask me to help them out after they screwed me over and made a fool out of me, then went on to rub it in my face as well. But I guess that Melissa and Greg really do lack brain cells, because that's what they reached out to me a few days back. I was at home because it was the weekend, and around lunchtime I heard someone frantically ringing my doorbell. I thought it was the pizza that I had ordered, so I didn't think much of it. When I opened the door, I received the biggest surprise of my life when, instead of a delivery guy, I found Melissa standing outside my house, looking really worried. I didn't know what to say, so I just silently waited for her to say something. While looking at her, I realized that she was definitely here to ask for help because she was looking destitute and her appearance gave her away. Even as a kid, Melissa always used to dress well, but when I saw her, she was dressed in old clothes which were all faded and had obviously been purchased a really long time ago. Her jeans were way too short and she herself looked like she hadn't been eating. I had already made up my mind that whatever she was about to ask me, the answer was going to be no. So when she said that she needed me to help her out because she and Greg had been struggling for a really long time. Ever since he had lost his job a couple of months ago, he had started drinking instead of looking for a new job, and even though she had been trying to find a job for herself, she couldn't because she had quit everything to stay at home and do all the household work when she first moved away with Greg. And because of that she hadn't been working in the recent past and the gap in her resume made her a weaker contender for all the jobs that she had been applying to. She said that she had heard from a couple of relatives that our father had retired and had handed over the reins of the business to me, so now she was here to ask me if I would be willing to hire Greg and give him something to do.